Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. It's an exciting day. We have a brand new watch from DT No.1, which is really amazing because it's new technology for this company. There's a new website for this company. There's a new app for this company, and there's a new name. DT No.1 is now DTONE.cc. That's going to be a new address to get to all of their goodies. Okay, let's unbox this and take a look at what's inside. This, in silver, with a leather simulated TPU band, you can tell it's already on, it's looking for my heart rate, folks, is a really sweet watch. This is called the DT28, and you're going to see an integration of 2 or 3 different kind of things here. Health, fitness, and more. We've got a little cover we can take off. Let's do that. I've been wanting to do that for a long time because I've actually been using this to acquire some data for you. And we're going to take a look at that. But first, we're going to take a look at this. Reason I'm showing you this prototype watch right now. And it's kind of a late early. Well, still prototype. They're finishing it up because the production units are not yet shipped out to resources like Gearbest. But you can pre-order in flash sale right now. And I want to get this video up so you have a chance to do that if you're interested in a price like this for a watch that does everything you're about to see. Check the show notes down below for a link that'll take you over there, and you can pick it up directly from Gearbest. It'll be a little while before it gets to you. Ships about the middle of March, I believe. And we're about the middle of February right now. But nonetheless, the introductory flash sales are usually the best bet for getting the best price, if you're willing to wait a little while. So what is it? It's a 1.54-inch standard smartwatch, little bit of RAM, little bit of ROM. So it's not an Android watch by any means, but it does all sorts of cool stuff. Heart rate monitor, step count, sedentary reminder. It says that's just scratching the surface, folks. A 240 by 240 pixel, 1.54-inch screen, heart rate monitor, okay, but it also does blood pressure, blood oxygen, and ECG in this watch. Yep, Smartband can display all of this stuff. This is just cut and paste from their page. When you get over there, you'll see all of these things listed. You got alarm reminders, sleep monitors, anti-lost when you're tethered to the new No.1 app, all those good things. And the specs. IP68 rating. This thing is definitely waterproof. And vibration within it, yeah. You can do the find your phone thing, 5 different alarms. There you go, all the different functions available. The basic screen information. Battery capacity is sufficient. Going to get a couple of days minimum out of it. And it comes in some different body styles and some different band styles, which we'll tell you about as well. Okay, let's pop in here to find the 2-pin connected magnetic coupled charging cable that just slaps on the back. Well, you haven't seen the back yet, have you? Yeah. There's a lot going on the back. You've got the green lights that light up for the diode that's part of the PPG data acquisition system for reading your heart rate and blood pressure in the normal sense that we've seen with lights shining into your skin and getting reflected light from your capillaries. That's in there. And then these are the ECG plates. And it looks like all of these have coverings. So when you get yours, see that blue? You definitely have to take these off because it relies on making body contact, and the little bit of electricity that runs through your body from your heart, it's able to pick that up to do the ECG. So you've got that, and it might even be plastic. Yep, there's plastic over here too. So you want to pop all of these things off so that you've got nice, clean, clear connection to your screen. And look at this carbon fiber back on here. They're talking a lot about that as well. I know, we were going through the box, but I got distracted. I was able to open up the watch. You have removable bands. You can take them off. Again, this is that silicone TPU material, but stitched like it's a leather band. So we're getting really elegant on these bands these days. Really nice design. There's 2 buttons on here. It's not one of those talky telephone things, so you don't have speakers and microphones. It's a sports fitness health watch. You got a nice bezel. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some markings. There you go. Markings around the bezel in silver, also available in black, and you can get metal bands with this as well. Now, this is a prototype unit, so it's not 100% yet. They're still working on it. The production unit, of which I'm hoping to get another one in when they're available from Gearbest to show you exactly what the production unit can do and go over some of that stuff. We're going to see this one here in a minute, and it looks pretty polished to me. But anyway, just to let you know, we're working off of the first 10. It's kind of like this. They make a bunch of them. Well, only 10 of them, really. And then they send those out to folks to review them, and we're lucky enough to get one of them. So we're going to go through the manual here quickly and show you that it's in pretty much finished condition. We have the English section here. Okay. I do this in a way that you can freeze frame it and read it at your leisure rather than sit there and read it to you. And there's good stuff in here you'll be finding out that I may not be covering when I talk about the watch. There's the QR code that you're going to be scanning. And this brings up a new app, the DT No.1 app. We'll show you that one as well. And there's a link in the show notes down below that you can go and download it. Here we go. Some more good stuff on this. This is one of those mostly text manuals where you get to read about it. Some of them are graphic with mostly pictures for an international audience, and then others are kind of a blend of both of those. This is really a text one. So we may see another manual coming out after they get the graphic arts department on it. Here's some stuff that you can write down when you get yours. There's no IMEI code that applies to this because it's not. It doesn't have a SIM card in it. And then we go into other languages. All right, I'm going to clear everything out. Let's get started. When we turn it on, we find, first of all, we've got a few different watch faces we can select from. This I like. It's really bright. You got your steps for the day and time and good information on there. Press and hold. You can select one of 4 different faces. Here's another one which has circles with the information in it. Calories burned, step count, small representation of time. Here's a really big colorful time display. Again, now we have the miles walked along with calories burned and steps at the top with a little arc down here showing you your battery level. That's a really nice one as well. And then you got this kind of sci-fi appearance to the watch face. Let's go with that one for now as we walk through the rest of the features. As most watches, when you scroll down, you get kind of an information display. We have Bluetooth, Do Not Disturb, and your overall brightness. There's the lowest setting, and brighter, 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 and brighter still, which is almost good enough to see in bright sunlight, definitely in shady outdoor weather. And the battery level, and this just loops around this way. And when you slide to the right, you get into your notifications area, and if you have any, they're definitely readable on the screen, and that loops around that way. If you slide to the left, you get into your heart rate, and it's shining the diodes attempting to take your heart rate, and slide back, and it loops around that way. So interesting, it's not like going in a full circle. Each direction is going in its own little loop with the time. And then, of course, looping up now gets you into your app drawer. Here's where you have your daily step count, and you can see it on a bar graph here, as well as your miles and kilometers or calories burned and distance traveled in miles. If it's set for that in the app, which is cool, you have that option. Then you have your last night's sleep information in here that's available with a breakdown, which I haven't done yet, but that's what it would look like. Then you've got your sports mode, where you have walking, running, biking, climbing. It's waterproof, folks. You have swimming, and then a variety of ball-type sports, badminton, and then a total report. And in here now, you have a report of the different activities you've done. I did a 3/4 of a mile walk, followed by a 1/4 mile run. Let's look at this one. Distance, heart rate, beat per minute, and number of steps, calories burned, and total time in that particular mode. And then here is the run, where I've got a 1/4 mile, 68 beats per minute. Odd, huh, if I'm running? Yeah, we'll talk about heart rate in a little bit. And then pace is listed here, and calories and steps and time. So each of these different sporting activities give you all kinds of different optional data that you're going to see in those reports, which also will be passed to the phone app. We'll see that in a moment. Then you've got weather. Now here's where it gets really, really fun. You're going to see some things on this watch that you don't normally see on watches. And they are available as long as you're tethered to your phone. This new No.1 app that's available now in the Google Play Store for download. It's actually been out for a while, but it's actually starting to be integrated properly now with these watches. When you have this installed, it's using the sensors in your phone to go out and pick up your location from GPS and other stuff, and that gets translated into what you're about to see now on the watch. So, we've got weather right there. And we just looked at that. I'm going to come back to the biometrics in just a minute. You also have air pressure in kPAs. You have your altitude in meters, it appears. I haven't been able to change that aspect of it. And what have we got here? We've got UV warning, which is based, I guess, in a combination of your location and weather and so forth. I don't believe there's a sensor in here. But you have the weather aspect too. So these kind of things, which you normally see on climbing watches, you know, people that are really outdoorsy and work with their altitude and barometric pressure information and weather, that is all here on this watch, as long as you've set up the tethering to the app. Okay, this is the part I skipped. Let's come back here. These are the biometrics. ECG, I'm going to come back and hit that last because that's the complex topic where you're using the plates on the bottom together with, I don't know, usually you have to use another electrode like the case. Most of the other watches, you squeeze or touch the case. While you have this on your arm, you create a circuit through your heart and you get the ECG. This is in process right now, and at the moment you'll see the ECG operates in a different way. But again, this might just be a setup testing thing as they're finalizing the software in the watch. All right, heart rate we know. That's your basic beats per minute. And again, it's covering the diode with a finger or your nose or your forehead or ideally your wrist. You want to wear the watch nice and tight on your wrist so that it's not vibrating around when you're running or walking. And it takes a little while on this one, I've noticed, to get it. It doesn't just pop up right away. But it may be actually taking several different measurements and averaging those so that when it does pop it up, it's fairly close to your actual heart rate. See, it started at 72, then it went up a little bit, now it's hovering at 76 to 78. And when it's finally done, it vibrates and locks into your final heart rate. And that is a data point that will be transferred to the app. In addition to the manual testing of the heart rate you're seeing right now, in the app you can set it up to test on a regular basis, as frequently as every 10 minutes, 24 hours a day. Pretty cool. Or you can set a range if you want to as well, if you just want to have heart rate during the daytime. Okay, swiping back gets us back out of heart rate, and then you go into blood pressure. Now, this is blood pressure computed again from the diodes, because I don't need to be using the electrodes for this. There is a way of doing ECG plus PPG analysis that gives you a different version of the blood pressure. That's, we've seen on different bands and watches, is a computation that is done with advanced circuitry. Not sure if this supports it. I believe it does. We'll see. 122/70, it vibrated and it stopped once the camera focused. Sorry about that, gang. And then we've got blood oxygen, and a lot of watches don't do this one. Your blood oxygen is something that those of you in athletics know that you want to keep that high. because once you start losing blood oxygen, you're going into anaerobic exercise. Am I right? And when you're in anaerobic, you're starting to eat up your muscle tissue, and that does all sorts of nasty things. You get lactic acid buildup. Not a good place to be for an extended period of time. You want it 95 or higher, I believe. I'm at 97 right now. I'll let you know when I was doing the run. At the very end of the run, I checked it. It was 95. I've seen it 98 before when I've tested this, and that's a data point that will be shot over to the phone as well. So we have all those goodies, and then we have this ECG or EKG. For that, you need to have the plates wet. That was me licking my finger. You want to have it on your arm, and now this says hold down here. Now this is interesting. It gives me this chart, and you can kind of see it where my finger is. It's a canned icon. It's not the real EKG chart that we've seen on other watches that look like this. When you squeeze or hold the case, you get your actual ECG chart you can see. Now look, I'm getting my heart rate coming in from ECG. Or is it ECG plus PPG? We're not sure. Are the diodes on? I have to turn it over to see. Well, I guess we're done in here because I don't get the chart. Is the diodes on? Yeah, they are. So maybe it's the combination of those two together that's giving us the reading right there. That's different because I'm touching the screen, which isn't an electrode, unless they've done something fancy with it that makes it the third electrode. I don't understand. Oh, wow, but it's cool anyway. So we're getting an ECG reading off of this. There is supposed to be a way, and I think it's coming when the app is finalized and the watch is finalized, that you will get your ECG chart and transfer it over to the phone. But for right now, I haven't been able to make that happen. We covered these. You've got a built-in stopwatch if you want in this thing. You've got a music player to remotely play the music, set alarms. You can do the remote camera function. Tapping that launches the camera on your phone. Tapping it, the button in the center, takes a picture on your phone and freezes it there. So you can have it all set up to do selfies or something, get that picture, take a look at it, and if you want to do a different one, I think you just press the button again and you can do another one. That's all with the selfie camera or the built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth camera. And then there's your find the phone thing that when you tap that, you can hear my phone going off over there, that it's locating it. And you can stop that here, I guess. There we go. Okay, now we get into the sedentary reminders that you can set. It's a looping timer that tells you to just get up and get busy. Here's where we can turn on the twist the wrist to see the time, which is really cool. Yeah, you have this countdown timer, which is nice too, and really easy to operate. You set however long you want it to be, and then you just hit the start, and it'll count down hours, minutes, and seconds, and then stop. Very easy to set up and go. You want to do something in 10 minutes, you press that, and you can do it. Alipay. I don't know, folks. I don't think you're going to get this out of China, but notice it's in English. It says check the watch payment agreement in the Alipay app. And then you get a barcode that you can scan, and if you set all that thing up and you're in a country where it's all accepted, you might be able to use this watch to make payments. And I believe you're doing it with a barcode, not with an NFC chip. So it's a whole different kind of a way of handling that in a watch. Then you've got your about that says that this is called Smartwatch. When you're doing your tethering, that's what you're going to look for is Smartwatch. And then you got reset and shut down. Reset will reset all of the parameters like it's a brand new watch, and of course, shutdown is just turning it off if you're going to be storing the watch. You got a back button there, and you've got your on-off button here. What else can I tell you? You want to see the app? Me too. Let's bring it over. Here we go. You just look for DT No.1 or check the show notes for the link, take you directly over here. You're going to find that it's kind of written in Chinese. You have sample screens, and they are all in Chinese. However, when you download it from the Google Play Store, it's in English if you're operating in the English language. Here's some of the different pages that are available to you. And as simple as open is going to take us and launch it. And now we are in the actual app itself. I already had it pre-installed. There's our daily step count. We've seen that there, right? And we can go into here and you can see a chart that is showing you some basic information for today's date. You can get back to yesterday. This is what I did on yesterday. And you have this button here, which will get you set up to tether the first time to the watch. And if you're already tethered, it will synchronize everything. Here's our kilojoules, our active time, 46 minutes, and a distance of 1.9 miles. Sorry for all the reflections on here. I really don't like apps that are black. I guess it's good for saving battery on your phone, but I have a heck of a time with the reflections. That's the main screen when you're on this one. I have this flag here. Oh, that's my slider for setting the brightness. Nothing to do with the app. Sorry, folks. There. This is where you can set your goals. How many, and your completion of your goals shows up here. How many steps per day you like. I hover around 8,000, hoping I can exceed it and hit 10,000, which is where I should be, but I can be happy if I hit 8. There's a temperature that's showing up, and across the top now you see you have these different tabs here. Now, again, this is a brand new watch app from No.1. It's similar to some we've seen before, but it's different, which is why we're taking time to go through it. I'm still on the center tab. I'm not moving to these other ones, but I'm using these up here to get to these different pages. Here's the walking best record so far today, and I could actually hit that button and start a new walk. You can go into settings and get that all set up. That was a little quick test that I just did on the phone, and this is for doing walking and workouts from the phone, not even associated with the watch. So you have your kind of a separate system built in here. There's our main page. Here is our page for sleep time, which you would have seen on the watch if I had any, and you'd see in here if we had any to show you. I can go now over to heart rate, and here I can go in and get my heart rate report. Remember, I had this set up, and you'll see later in the app, to take my heart rate every 10 minutes, and it's been doing that. 1542. Oh, wow, look at all of these. These are happening like every 2 seconds. That must have been when I was doing my walk. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's recently, huh? That's just like right now. Well, all right. There we go. Now we're getting down to about every 10 minutes or so. Let's scoot way back here. 11, 1050, 1040, 1030. All right, so it does it every 10 minutes. And then when you're doing something else, some sort of activities, it's doing it much more frequent. And it's showing you these things, average, minimum, average, and maximum somehow during that period. And I guess if you're sedentary, they should be pretty close together. If you're really active, you should see a dispersion between your minimum and maximum over the spread of time that it's assessing it. But nonetheless, you get this graph. You can see barely in the writing. It's got your time across the bottom, and it's got your rate across the side. And there's nothing that I can see that you can do with it, but you've got it there. And you've got the specific data that backs it up. So your overall daily average, maximum, and minimum are right here on the screen as well. That's for heart rate. Here's for blood pressure. Your systolic, diastolic, and pulse, and your latest blood pressure reading. And I've only done a couple of them at these times, and then these are the readings, but you'll have a chart if you do it regularly. No, it's not doing automatic every 10-minute kind of thing with blood pressure. It only does it when you test it. So if you want to have a look at your blood pressure over time, you're going to need to physically start it on the watch and take that measurement. But you do have access to it. And then, of course, blood oxygen as well. And again, touching shows I had 97, and there's when I had 95 earlier today after my run. And I've only done the couple of them so far, just to give you an idea. So these are all here on the main page. If you go over to me, this is where you can set up your stuff, your own image, and all of these parameters, which will help in the computations of the data for you, especially calories and whatnot. Here's our today information, and then this is the best, and then you've got the average, and then you've got last week for comparison purposes. So you can work against yourself, with yourself, to improve yourself. Then I go into analysis, and now you get into some more deeper statistics, and you can do this, and that expands the whole screen, and you got that kind of data. I'm just skipping in here now so you get a feel for it. And that's on steps, and then you have sleep as well. So the idea overall, improve your, I'm sorry, you couldn't see that, could you? Too long, the phone. Sleep and steps. To improve your health and improve the quality of your sleep, you can use this app for that and expand these as necessary. And these are the days of the week down here. We've been there. Now you come into reports. Here you have a deeper look at your activity report, and that's just it. Your sleep report, there's our heart rate, blood oxygen, and blood pressure. So all those little reports you saw on the individual pages are summarized right here. You can press that button, set it up to send it out to email or Facebook or tweet it or whatever you'd like to do. All that capability is there and more. Finally, we are connected as Smartwatch to this Smartwatch. You have application push where you can load in and set up all of your internal apps that you have to push notifications to the watch if you want to. Both personal and system apps are selectable. Very robust. You have call notifications. If you get a call, you can have it pushed over here. Same for your text messages or not if you don't want that to happen. Here's the take a photo capability, the find the device capability, basic sedentary reminder settings, similar to what you could do right there. Here you can set up drinking water, basic reminder mode, your alarm clocks, and so forth. Raise hand is off here, it's on there. It gets confusing as to which one is active, but I guess they sync with each other. We turned it on here so that when I twist it, I should be seeing the time, and I am. And turning it on here should have done it as well. So I guess as long as it's been turned on, the last thing it remembers, it will be there. Here's your heart rate test. And this is an interesting process where you set up when you want it to start, when you want it to end, and how frequently, from 10 minutes to 60 minutes, you want it to do the automatic heart rate test that you can activate or deactivate there. Just be sure, folks, you hit the check mark after you set everything up. If you leave it without doing that, it's not going to remember it. The do not disturb mode, so that even if you have your twist the wrist to see the time, it's not going to light up on you. You can set your start and end time, check mark again to activate that. And firmware upgrade, which you're going to need to do when you get this. I needed to do it. You probably will too. Your overall unit settings for metric or inches and Celsius or Fahrenheit, which is great to see. And then a user's guide and an overall about the app, which is currently version 1.0.2, but expect to see that coming up to a newer version. Check it periodically, and it says no current, it's the current version, but when it's ready to update, you'll see that. And as you've seen, I have no place on here where it's talking about ECG charts, yet this one is supposed to be able to generate that. So in the final production version, we're hoping that we will see in here that ability to not only capture ECG, but to transfer the nice heart wave chart to the app itself. Okay, so summary. You're looking at a prototype watch called the DT No.1, sent to us directly from No.1. It comes to us in a couple of different colors, black and silver, and a couple of different watch band styles, TPU style like this, and metal bands in silver or black and brown. I don't know. Look at the Gearbest website to find out which combination you'd like to buy. You can pick it up directly from them right now. They're in flash sale, probably the lowest price you're going to see. It's not yet available, but they're taking the pre-order registrations for it now. So if you're really liking this one, this would be a good time to go ahead and jump on it and pick it up. And many thanks to both Gearbest for supporting us with this and making these available to you, and to No.1 for sending out the prototype so we could get this announced to you guys right up front. Really nice design, waterproof, removable bands, all of the biometrics, along with things like altitude and barometric pressure and weather built into it, tethered to a new watch from No.1. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks. Love your subscriptions. Really, really do. We're getting up there now. This is fun. So please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you like the videos, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.